Hey guys, welcome to my channel. So this is my morning routine. Wake up at 5 a.m. and the first thing that I do is have a glass of warm water with lemon and honey. Then I oil pull and 30 minutes after oil pulling I brush my teeth. I make my protein shake, change it to my workout set and head to the gym for a quick 2-hour session.
Here's what I eat in a day to maintain my gut health, and a figure which you will never achieve in this lifetime, but I will keep on lying because I need the views. So, first of all, I will have a glass of water immediately after waking up because hydrating is very important. Then I'm off to my business. For my breakfast, I usually have a high protein meal like avocado toast and a smoothie. I will show you the tutorial in the next video, so make sure to follow me, my angels. Then I'm off to my Pilates classes. I always carry a protein bar with me so that I don't get tired. This is my favorite brand, is sugar free. Then I drink my regular juice shot, which I had shown in the previous video. After this, I usually avoid eating. So that's it, my angels. See you next time.
Productivity, productivity, productivity,
A day in a
productivity,
life, a day in a
productivity,
life, of
productivity.
a day in a life of a multimillionaire who is just 19. A day in a life of a high achiever. A day in a life of a person who thinks they're very relatable but they are not. A day in a life of a person who thinks they're authentic but they are not.
This is not self-improvement. It's a trap.
Your obsession with self improvement is driving you crazy.
Hello, welcome to Gooseberry. This is your host Sonia, and I'm here with my partner in podcast, Nidhi.
Hi everyone.
So we hear and like see this word self-improvement a lot lately, like especially on social media. But do we know what exactly it means? Like what exactly is self-improvement?
Can I be honest? I don't know actually. Like I thought I did, but like social media just completely threw me off.
Exactly. So I want to point out that self-improvement has become a heavily misunderstood topic of late, and the view that social media users have of self-improvement is extremely faulty. So now for a definition, self-improvement or personal development is about improving yourself in various ways. It could be learning new skills, gaining some new knowledge, building positive habits that last you a lifetime. It helps you to become better at what you do and it boosts your chances at getting a job or whatever opportunities you might be looking for and makes your life more fulfilling. It's all about growing continuously, discovering yourself and pursuing your dreams confidently. Now, while this is a general definition, it may obviously differ from person to person based on their different lifestyles.
Yes, definitely. Like, especially with the last sentence, because what I might consider as self improvement, Sonia might not consider it as a self improvement, and vice versa, because it differs from person to person and situation to situation. Okay. Now, why exactly is this that we strive so much for this? Like, why do we run and why do we chase self improvement like we are going to die next day? Why do we have this constant desire and urge to be simply better than what we were yesterday? So, self improvement is actually intrinsic to human nature. We strive for self improvement to grow, find fulfillment, adapt to happy life changes, enhance relationship, achieve success, and untimely the main goal everyone which everyone strive for in this lifetime to be happier. So yeah.
Now, before we get into this episode, just a disclaimer, we are not trying to say that self improvement is bad. The obsession with constantly wanting to level up can be detrimental to your well being more than the benefits of actually improving yourself.
Definitely, we are not referring you from a better life. Like we're not telling, oh, don't go to that gym, or don't lose that weight, or oh, don't develop healthy habits. We are not saying that. What we are trying to say is that the obsession with constantly wanting to level up can uh, be bad for you, and once you get into this self improvement trap, you get slowly sucked into this black hole of self improvement which can affect you adversely, and this is coming from both personal and close relation, like our experience and the people we have seen, including ourselves. So yeah.
So, now arises the question, why is it so easy to fall down this rabbit hole?
The answer to that is pretty easy if you ask me. Mostly because First of all, okay, I'm not gonna blame social media, but like this is one of the highly contributing reason why uh in whether it be self improvement or any other subjects or concept or topic, we fall deep into that because information is easily accessible to us. And that information might not always be true. It is addicting. Um, Also, culture. I think a culture plays a bigger part because whatever culture you are, you have been grown or you have seen around you, each and every culture just strive for a better version for yourself. Like that is the end goal to be better than what you were yesterday. So I think all of
Yeah.
us, yeah, it's like a inherent thing that we know we have to do. And with social media currently, uh, with so many people of different views and opinion and this everyone just putting stuff out there, I think it kind of works. You just get sucked into it, like literally. And also because of influencers, because the halo effect, if you don't know, and influencers here. So about the halo effect, if you don't know what it is about, it basically means like, uh, if there's a good looking person, like a person who's conventionally attractive, and a person who is not conventionally attractive in your eyes, and both of them have the same ideas and the same thoughts, and both of them want to speak to you, okay, about this, you are more likely to go to the good looking person and listen to their ideas and agree with them than going to the convention less attractive person for you and just generalizing that their ideas are not good, but both of them
Yeah,
are good or same
it's
thing.
human nature actually, because what happens here is that, like, if I were to give you an example now, when you see a social media influencer who's posting like the best bits of their life on social media and like mainly focuses on self-improvement reels and posts, you'll realize that when they show a slightly negative side of them, you are not able to accept it because you generalize their level of attractiveness and their aesthetic reels to be everything that their life is about. Like you can't think beyond that, and you can't believe that they might have like some sad times in their life as well, sometimes where they are the one who is experiencing FOMO, whatever may it be. So whenever they reveal like their slightly negative experiences of their lives to the internet and show their insecurities, maybe for example, we find it hypocritical and difficult to accept because they showed us the best parts first and now they are showing us the worst parts, and so it's difficult to really link them together and look at the person as the same way that they were, or even if it's the opposite and we have this set vision of them, then we can't really get a dynamic vision of them anymore.
Yes, but now comes the question, like how does halo effect plays a part over here? Like, yeah, if the topic was pretty privileged, we would have understood it better, but that is not our topic today's topic. Well, when it comes to self improvement videos or vlogs or self help and books, audios, just all these influencers, all these gurus, mental health gurus or guides who don't have a degree. When they do this, the videos and the way they film everything and showcase it to you, it's often a romanticized version. It's always pleasing to look at in an aesthetic way. And for us, it's like, oh, if this looks good, then it must be good. Oh, if this person who has this perfect lifestyle, who looks in a certain way, and if they are doing it, then we immediately take it as the truth and we immediately generalize it to every single thing. Oh, they're using this product, oh, I should do this. Oh, they have this routine in their life, oh, then maybe I should have it, I should follow the same routine. So even though you won't question it twice before, like, oh, is this actually product good for myself? Like, is it good? Is it beneficial? Is this routine made for myself? Do I think that I can do this routine? Will it actually help? We don't do
Yeah,
that.
we don't really use any logic then. Then we are just smitten by how pretty or how handsome they are.
Yeah, and I feel like this is one of the reason why self-improvement, here's where like people mostly lose track what their goal is like, because oh, the amount of time these influencers or gurus, we idolize them so much, like we put them in a pedestal and we don't question them at all. Like it's like, huh,
Yeah.
are you sure it's whatever they are doing is correct? And not even
We don't run a fact check on what they are saying. It's like, okay, if you said it, then it must be engraved in gold, and that's like the word of God. It's like that.
yeah, and yeah, and also this, it often leads to us comparing ourselves to them when they live a completely different life than us. Like that is their job here over here. We idolize them so much, like, oh, this is this, oh, we should do this. No,
Yeah.
I don't think maybe you have the money for that. Do you think you can afford that mask, that skincare mask that she wear? You don't have money to buy a vada pav. Shut up. Um, so yes, because it's like, oh, they have this routine. They wake up every day at 5 a.m. and they go to sleep at 9 p.m. I should do that too. Brother, are you like crazy? You eat your dinner at 8:30. You are like going to go. Do you think you will be able to fall asleep at 10 o'clock? No. You will you will just spend scrolling on your phone till 11 or like till 1, and then you're like, oh, I should wake up at 5 a.m. And then you wake up at 5 a.m. and what happens? Your sleep schedule is fucked, and so is your life. Um,
Yeah. So another thing that I just thought of to give more of a dimension to halo effect was when you are like initially when you initially begin liking someone, the thing is, if they look attractive, see, the basis of liking someone is always you getting like physically attracted to them first. And if you think they look good, you are less likely to catch on to all of the negatives that they have. You know, those memes that go around of girls saying, oh, when he is this certain height and tall and has like blue eyes or some shit, and then they are like, oh, then I become colorblind, then I can't see the red flags, I
Mm.
only see them as green flags. So that's actually also an example of the halo effect, because you generalize their attractiveness to them being this real saint in real life, and you're like, oh my god, he is like a god that has stepped onto this on the face of this earth, and he can do no wrong to nobody. So that's another example of the halo effect. If you feel called out, then that was a good example.
Yeah. And again, like with the halo effect and the self improvement thing, like we said, most of their routines and most of the food they have, it generally looks very pleasing to look at, aesthetic to look at. It looks good, it looks clean, these people are eating it. And then you just
Yeah,
immediately assume that it's good when there is nothing aesthetically pleasing about waking up at 5 a.m. Like until yeah, these people, I wake up at 5 a.m. so I can get a view of the sunrise. The sun doesn't rise at 5 a.m., bro. Where do you
exactly.
sleep? Like,
Bro, here where we are, the sun rises at like at least at like 6:45, 6:55 on a good day in summer. Okay, so who are you kidding?
yeah, like exactly. So yeah, like the routine, it's going to be very difficult. Like if you want to improve for yourself, that is good, but just know what you're getting yourself into with. And because with your false expectations and when the reality hits hard, you just feel like, oh, I can't do this anymore, this is so difficult, I feel like I'm a failure, I don't deserve I'm like, and then you just go and do that cycle.
You spiral and then you just internalize everything. So that's another thing that's not good for you. Now, idolizing self-improvement influencers gets us into this headspace of like increasing our blind consumerism. Now, just consumerism as in not just watching the content. I'm talking about like buying the products that they promote. Like Nidhi had pointed out earlier, when you see influencers or certain like celebrities, top models, or your favorite celebrities from Bollywood, from Hollywood, what you tend to do is you gravitate towards products that they are advertising, or companies that are hiring these celebrities to endorse their products without actually doing a whole analysis. Like if someone is promoting like a skincare product, for example, it might only be for people who have dry skin, but you have oily skin, or you might have combination skin. You don't need that skincare product, then it's actually going to do much more harm to you than help you. That's why increased blind consumerism is one of the bigger issues of like self improvement on social media, because the influencers are doing this so that they get brand deals and they get like an
Yes.
income out of it. But like basically, if you purchase it, it's working. If
Yeah,
you
and
purchase the product, it's working.
it's not just about whether the product is right for you or not. It's about, do you actually need that product? Like there's so many like I have seen so many people just buy
Oh, the
useless.
Stanley Cup.
Oh
The
yeah,
Stanley Cup.
I
Oh
mean,
my God.
yeah, I mean, we are in India, so we didn't had the Stanley Cup craze, but like it's like people often buy so many stuff that they don't actually need. Like, oh, like take the iPhone craze. Like you need to get the every latest version, like the study vlogs, or like the people who always have this new version of unboxing my MacBook Pro Air 4. Bro, like, and then
So
it's like, oh, you
it
already have them, but like, oh, there's something new. Someone has this. All these people are using it. I must buy this. And even with the
so
same,
you're
like,
like, oh, I need it. Yeah,
yeah,
the thing is, you can't really, it becomes a very blurred line between like you needing something, you wanting something. It's more so to do with, you need to question yourself. Like, do you actually want what you are looking at right now, the product that you are investigating about right now? Do you want it? Do you need it? Or do you just want and need the feeling of having it, so that you can boast to people and flaunt whatever product it is and be like, oh yeah, that I got it for my birthday. Guess when my birthday was? Yesterday. So it's like it becomes like this whole bandwagon of people just buying products because they either want to be included in the herd mentality, or because they like the feeling of owning that product.
yeah, because people don't like to be left out. No one likes that. But is it really important that you get that pink colored face mask or that pink colored bottle or like whatever you are trying to have? Like, is it necessary? Are you gonna die if you like don't get that? Like, always question.
Probably not. Just
Yes.
saying.
Yeah. I mean, unless and until like, okay, I'm not going to give the example, but yeah. Also, the biggest problem, I won't say a problem, but most of the people fail to see this is like affording that life and having that time for it. So generally, when it
Okay,
comes,
especially if you're working, and if you're not working, not if you're working, if you're not working and it's your parents' money, then you can't even make a decision. Okay, until
yes,
you don't earn for yourself, you can't decide. So don't make your parents spend money on like the whatever nonsense you are obsessed with right now, because the craze will die down. Trends
yeah,
are
and
made so
it's
that they rise and fall.
yeah, and not just about consumerism. I'm talking about when I say about affording that life and having the time for it. I mean the whole lifestyle or the schedule that you're following of an influencer or whatever person you admire or want to, you know, whoever that is. I'm not going to name anyone here, but it's like you are a student or you are a person who is working 9 to 5 or whatever you are doing. You're not some, while they are earning money from whatever they're putting out there, the content or the self-help or the
Yeah.
self-improvement journey that they are doing it. They can do that because they have the time for it and the resources for it. They're getting paid for doing that. And
They basically get paid to live the lifestyle that they're living, because they record their lifestyle and they post it online, and us viewing is what's giving them the money that they need to continue living that lifestyle.
yes, exactly. And then you will start feeling bad. Oh, I can't do this. It's so difficult. You start burning out and like, this is so terrible. I feel like I'm a failure and something like, no, no, darling. Like, it's like, um, you. you're someone who doesn't even have a proper sleep schedule. You wake up in the morning, you have to go to some classes, then you have your college, and then you have to come back home. You have to do your other chores, you have to complete your assignments, and till you know it's already 12 o'clock, and then it's time to sleep. And then there's traveling. My God, if you're someone who whose college is far away or your uni is far away from the place, that takes half of your time. And whatever you say, traveling is actually exhausting. Like, have you ever went in a local train after 5 o'clock? Don't do that.
Not fun.
It's not fun. I do
It's
that
not
every
fun.
day. It's not fun, but you have to do it. But exactly, and this is going to make you feel exhausted. You don't need necessary, and it's okay to take a break when then you will. It's like or a person who is working 9 to 5. You can't afford going to the gym and being there for 5 hours. Like, oh, I will go to the gym in the morning for 3 hours, then I will come back and I will go to the gym again for 3 hours in the night. It's good if you can do that, if you have the stamina to do that, if you have the time and place to do that. It's amazing, bro. Keep it up. Keep it up, girlie. Keep it up, bro. Who are you? Like, but you looking at in a average population way, you can't do that because you have a completely different lifestyle than the person who is out there putting content, which is which at first glance might seem relatable if they're someone who are funny and just something, but then
Yeah.
you see it in a deeper level. They are earning money by doing this. They also have their down day, which they don't post on it because no one likes to see someone's sob story, until and unless it's a reality show. But still, you get it. Yes.
And when we talk about all of this, we also talk about how when you want to like feel included and want to follow the same lifestyle as your favorite influencers, your favorite content creators, this stems from us seeking validation from like outside, from others, because we want to be included in this whole social media space, and we scroll through people's like influencers posts and everything. One day they are in, I don't know, Bali, the other day they have traveled to like bloody Dubai, and we are like, oh my god, this travel influencer, I want to live like this too. And you start like in a need to seek validation from others, you start like adopting mannerisms of such influencers, which generally is not beneficial for you, because their the time of their life that they are in right now may be very different from the time of life you are in right now. They have a completely different like career per se, and you might still be a student or you might still be in a conventional job. So I'm not saying dreaming to be in their position is bad, but feeling bad for yourself and pitying yourself in an attempt to feel included is it's not the best thing and the best situation to find yourself in, which is also why like watching social media influencers lives can be more detrimental than just figuring out a routine that genuinely works for you and helps you maximize your life while you're still happy doing whatever you're
Yeah,
doing.
and not only with just social media's influencer, it can be anyone. It can be the self-help book that you're following. The monk who
Oh
sold
my
his
god.
Ferrari. um, we all know what happened to that. Indian parents are shaking with fear. Or it can be following. This is the routine of Uh, Albert Einstein, or Thomas Edison, what he did. Oh, Thomas Edison, he used to sleep 2 hours in the afternoon. I should, bro, do you know what he used to do while he used to sleep 2 hours? You don't know that. And I don't think you need to sleep 2 hours.
Oh yeah, the studying like
Yes,
Isaac Newton for the day, and
yes,
oh my god,
yes,
I've
yes.
seen that. I've seen those.
Yeah. And I mean, I know it sometimes that this might be harsh or but like some people are God gifted, okay? You can't help it. Yeah, you can work for a better version of yourself, but make sure you're doing it for yourself and not for chasing some person's personality to or the fame or whatever your goal is. Make sure you're doing it for yourself. And the goal is authentic, real, and something that is achievable, and not something that is out of your reach or something that is just going to disappoint you in the end. Also,
Yeah, you just feel dejected when you can't really show up for yourself, because then sometimes what happens is you might take it very personally and internalize it, and then it's difficult to get back on track, and you just end up spiraling and like feeling sad for yourself
yeah, and not just
because you
that.
couldn't achieve what you wanted to.
Yeah, not just that. You also like are like very heightened with your emotion. You're just angry with everyone and everyone else. There was one phase where I was like, oh my god, I can't do this. I was just studying, I don't know, like morning till evening, and it was not even my boards or something. I was just studying because like, oh my god, everyone around me getting good marks. I was getting good marks. Okay, I was not even failing, or like my marks were above average, but I was still like panicking and shit. And I'm doing this, and one day my best friend she was at my house, and I was she was there, and I was still studying in front of her, okay? And
Oh my God.
yeah, I was talking about just, and I mentioned some whatever my friends and what is going on and this particular person and all. And on that, she just comments, "Oh yeah, some people are just God gifted," and the the conversation was completely different, but the way it brought me back to reality, and I was like questioning every single thing, like, what was I doing? Then I went to a friend who was like very worried because I wasn't answering texts and all, and I was like, oh shit, I just realized my I mean, I know I have the drive and all, but the motivation was wrong, and that is why the things weren't working out. I was studying Ithana and all, still I felt like, oh, I'm not understanding anything when it was pretty easy. And once my motivation changed for doing something, because I was in a time where I was comparing me with someone, and then I realized, ki, oh, this is very wrong. This is not helping anyone. And that like brought
Yeah.
me back to reality. Also, is it really something that's making you feel better, or is it something in the category of things that we see as better, but really in the pursuit of them, we are tearing ourselves apart? Like whenever, again, this is why I mentioned the halo effect. It's like it looked good. We assumed it is good. And also with all
Yeah.
this schedules or this lifestyle or this stuff, um, it feels like, oh, this is good, or we are supposed to do it because people are doing this, all these people who have influence, or these people who are in a higher position in their life, they are doing this. That is why we should do it. But doing all this, is this making you feel happier? Is it making you feel better? Like, um, I don't think that is doing, and if it is not making you feel yourself the way it should be making you feel, then you're just, destroying yourself in following a rigorous routine for something that is not even working.
Yeah, and that is actually not going to serve you at the end of it. So you won't actually achieve whatever it is that you want to achieve out of it. You'll just end up like feeling bad about yourself, and then again go into that whole loop of comparing yourself to others and feeling like you're doing the bare minimum. Like I remember the other day, I was at my Nana Nani's house. So that's like my maternal grandparents' house for the international babies that are listening. I was at my maternal grandparents' house, and they asked me what I was up to and how I was, just doing in general in my break and everything. So I was explaining to them, and I told them that I was, just gathering some fresh knowledge about social media algorithms and stuff. And then after I told them that, and I told them what I had been doing the past 2 weeks, where I was actually feeling like I was waking up late and not doing anything well enough and all of that. After I told them that, I realized how much I had actually achieved. But like when I was looking at it on a daily basis, whenever I would like do an evaluation and just try to see where I spent most of my time and everything, I would feel really bad about myself. I was like, what the hell am I doing? I woke up late. I'm like indulging in revenge bedtime procrastination like every single day. And then after I told them that, I was like, huh, maybe I have improved. I was like, no, no, it's fine. Like I did what I could.
It's
So praise
funny.
yourself.
Yeah, it's funny how we don't realize it ourselves until a second or a third person has to come and tell you, and you're like, oh,
Yeah.
really? Oh, that is why, getting noticed and
Because
acknowledgement is so much
see,
important.
and that's why also another thing that is important here is that you need to always have in mind that you are your biggest critic. Like you will critique yourself worse than anyone on the face of this earth. Maybe even your enemy won't be able to critique yourself that badly, and that's bad. That's not a good thing. You end up indulging in negative self-talk a lot, and most of the negative self-talk is because of other people's opinion of you or society's view of how you should or should not be. So improve that as well.
Definitely. Also, like I mentioned in my previous point, like, is it really something that is making you feel better, or it is in the idea of something that looks better? Like, and so often we do things because it is good, or we are supposed to do it or show to people that we are doing something because it is morally right, even though those things have like no inherent moral values. Like, it's when I say this, it's like, oh, waking up good, no one said it's morally right, okay? No one said that having a warm water with honey and lemon is morally right. It's not written anywhere. But for us, it feels like, oh, we need to follow this, we need to read this, we need to listen to this, we need to watch this, or you should dress up like this, we should, just maintain everything that is there, because we feel it's the morally right thing to do when it is
Yeah.
it has no inherent moral values. And because not knowing if it is, like, just because you do it, because you think, oh, this is good, this is supposed to be good because people are endorsing it, people are doing it, it is socially acceptable. But is it actually right for you? uh for me, when I say this, it reminds me of my reading habit. Like, for the people who know me, like my close friends and stuff, and for the people who have seen me uh growing up, like, I'm still a baby, but like when I was in school, I was a avid reader. Like, I used to love reading books. Like, just yesterday I packed like my books in a, this huge ass red suitcase, and then I had to come and make two rounds because like the suitcase wasn't enough to transfer the book to my new house. But it was because I used to love reading it. But what happens over here is like, once I started getting, little mature, little older, people started like, yeah, what are you reading? Just like, read something new, okay? I'm generally someone who used to enjoy reading mysteries and thrillers and psychological thrillers, like, Nancy Drew and stuff. But
Yeah.
Sonia knows about this. So,
It's
uh,
a lot of fun. Nancy Drew was a lot of fun.
bro, I swear to God, I have like so many books of her. Like, presently in my bookshelf there are more than 20s, and there was this illegal site. I still have it, if you where I used to read all the hardcover novels and the paperback novels. So if you guys are interested, you can DM us on that. I will send it to you guys. I still have it. It is still bookmarked. Yeah. But what happened is, like, after just, getting into social media and all these people who are just, oh, book talk, especially book talk. Oh my God, book talk. And
I it blows my mind, bro.
bro, not only that, but they will try to, mold your mind and like to say what is good for you, like which book you should read. It is good. It's a community for people who read, that is good. But it's like, um there's so many books which don't deserve the hype, or like, it's not, I'm not talking about that. It's just like it will tell you like, these are the books you're supposed to read, and if you don't read this book, we don't accept you in the community. It's like that.
Yeah, it's a very hardcore, like you are either part of the community or you are just outcasted if you haven't read a certain amount of books or a certain
Yeah,
title of books.
definitely. And for me, what happened was like I kept on hearing like, oh, read something new, read this book, self-help books and stuff. And after some time, I lost track of things like books which actually used to like reading. So whenever I used to, because for me, reading book was like a nice little fun time. It was never a chore for me. For me, it was a escape. But after some time, it became like because now also since I used to read a lot because like it was at our home we had a limited amount of screen time, so for me reading was a fun thing to do because like oh I'm at least in some different world. uh, so I wasn't allowed to buy books because I used to just keep on reading books and not eat my food. Yeah.
Oh my God.
So my father and my mom was like against buying me new books because like go study. What are you doing this year? So after then 10th board came and that was horrible. I just lost all my hobbies. I stopped.
Same,
We
same.
had a discussion on this, Sonia, and maybe we can talk about it, in depth in like our next future episode. But anyways, so after that, I started just buying all these books which I don't necessarily need to read. Like I started buying literature books. I started buying all this self. I don't exactly buy self-help book because I still believed, and I used to believe, and I still believe they are like a scam. Like, come on.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
They're just the
Are you?
same few principles of information again and
Yeah,
again in just different books.
yeah. Like, are you being for real? But yeah, but I kept on buying all this stuff and books which I don't necessarily need to read, and due to that, reading became like a chore for me because I wasn't enjoying what I was reading, and then I just got too busy, and then brain rot due to social media, my attention span. And now I just don't read. I just can't read, and it's so bad that now I can't. I am in like in a long book slump. Every time I'm saying, "Oh, I'm in a book slump." The book slump is lasting for a year. Someone save me, but it's like I can't sit in a place and read books or even read the books which I used to like which I used to like really like
Yeah.
to read because the habit is now destroyed because I was following something and buying some stuff and books which I don't need, which was not necessary for me. It was not giving me pleasure. It is now just a chore for me. And due to all this community out there of self-help and self-improvement books you need, and like it's good, like if you want to improve yourself it is good, but make sure you don't go and do the stupidity that I did. You're gonna lose your hobbies. Yeah.
It's also because of like the slow creeping in of like hustle culture.
Yeah.
Because hustle culture, it's only off late that people have started giving more importance to hobbies. But in between, everyone was like denouncing hobbies and everything because they're like, oh my God, you have to work hard so that you can achieve your dreams and make your parents proud. Chill out, bro. Like, you can do all of that even by having some separate downtime and leisure time for yourself in a day. Otherwise, you're going to burn out very quickly.
Also,
And
we keep on forgetting that hobbies are supposed to be fun. They are not supposed to be
yeah,
something that is constructive or productive.
they don't have to be productive. They are to give your brain some rest from all of the productive work you've done in that very long day that you just had. But people end up losing their hobbies around like adolescence and when they're about to turn into adults, mainly because of hustle culture taking over slowly. Sometimes it's because social media takes up most of our time because we just prefer scrolling since it's easier. And then now, like, most people don't have hobbies as such. Most people don't even have any additional thing that they do other than school or college or uni. Like, they don't have any extracurriculars that they are doing because they enjoy them. They might just be doing it because they want to add it to their CV or something like that. But most of the people just lie in bed and scroll now as their free time.
Yeah, definitely. And it's so bad because as kids, you always look at all those adults and you always think like, oh, this is not going to happen to me. And then it happens to you. And then you're
Yeah.
like, oh. Wow, can you remember the rain? I can't.
And this point of hustle culture, like two of the most popular movies for our generation, Ye Jawani Hai Diwani and Zindagi Na Milegi Dobara. So hustle culture is very well depicted in the role of Arjun, played by Hrithik Roshan in Zindagi Na Milegi Dobara, because over there we see how his work is like his everything. His work has basically become his identity, and it's because he gave into hustle culture. He's like trading stocks and stuff from his bloody BlackBerry and typing and looking
Yeah, on
into
a fucking
such a tiny
vacation.
yeah, on a vacation. He just paused his entire like drive with his two friends, and he's like, okay, wait, I have to do this meeting with this Japanese influential dude, like very rich guy, and he's like
Moshi
moshi
moshi.
moshi and shit like that. And it's like, okay, we get that hustle culture and stuff can to some extent really help you like get that boost of motivation so that you can work towards your success and really maximize your potential and everything. But like he was doing exactly that, and he didn't even realize that he had not expressed emotionally in very long. He had not had any experiences to like bloody calm his overstimulated nervous system down from
Yeah,
all of that
not
work.
not everyone is going to get a Leela, guys. Okay, you need to figure
Yeah.
and you need to figure stuff out on your own. And not only that, as we saw as the movie progressed, we saw Arjun um develop emotionally and maturely. We saw him growing there. Whereas at first he seemed like a NPC, like an AI created character, bro. Like his friends were
Yeah.
good, but how many friends do you have that will, stop you and just remind you, are you stupid? What are you doing? Spend some time, have some fun, and in a good way, not in a let's go party way, but like just to take time and relax with your
Yeah, and you
and
you need to know, even if you are the person, the kind of person who will listen to your friends who are genuinely
yeah,
advising you to bloody take a break once in a while. You need it
the
sometimes.
scuba
And you might
diving.
not be able to identify it.
Yeah,
Someone else outside of you might be able to
yeah,
identify it
for
better.
yeah, for Arjun, like the scuba diving scene was like a eye-opening scene. Oh my God, he started crying and then he realized what was
Yeah.
he doing. Like,
Yeah, he realized how much life had in it.
yeah, like, do you think if Lela had met Arjun when he was when he was not on the vacation, he wouldn't even have, like, give a shit to her or even listen to her. He would have called her naive or something like that. But because he was in that better mindset and in a better place emotionally, he was able to get her point of view and understand her. So, see, we are not Arjun. We can't afford going to Europe as a vacation. We can't do that. But we have other ways. And it is if we can just speak about it because we have
Yeah, that's actually the easiest way. Like whoever you think you're the closest to and won't like use your weaknesses against you, go talk to them. Because some people find it difficult to journal. Some people prefer talking it out to someone by venting.
yeah,
But
that's
other
me.
people, yeah, other people. So you have to figure out what is the best way for you to go about it. Some people record themselves talking, and then once they are done, they refrain from watching the video again and they just delete the video. So now it's like out of their life. That's their way of removing that emotional baggage out of their life. Some people journal and burn the paper because it helps them like get past something, because once they see it burn, they realize that, oh, it's gone into ashes now. So now it's like time for the new chapter of my life to start. Some people just like talking to others. So
Yeah,
identify what works for you.
yeah, definitely. Even with the journal habit, I see a lot of people promoting like, oh, start doing this, which is good, but it doesn't work with everyone. Like I'm someone personally who cannot maintain a diary. I cannot. I have tried so many times but cannot. I'm just scared of vulnerability and I'm just very paranoid that someone is going to take my diary and read it out even though I know no one is going to do that. It is very difficult for me to express my feelings and thoughts into words. I and write it. I'm generally someone who speak out. Like I just talk. So I what I do is like sometimes I just there is audio journaling. Sometimes I just record my thoughts and voice and just keep it in a recording. Just don't listen to it back. Then you will just feel cringe out and you will have to delete it. So yeah, do find out what works for you. Don't just blindly follow stuff. And
Yeah, that's very important.
if something is not working for you, it doesn't mean that something is wrong with you. Just try finding alternatives. Also, the next thing is like terming the day as productive or unproductive instead of good or bad. This, oh my god, the guys, do you know Sonia was a victim of this? Sonia, would
Yeah.
you like to share your memories and thoughts about this?
So, okay. I have this habit which I didn't even know until like Nidhi pointed it out to me. And she's very smart. She waited few months, she observed अच्छे से, and then after that she was like, this is what you do. So what I tend to do is once I have like done a certain amount of things from my to-do list, but my to-do list is not fully complete yet, I get annoyed. Okay. I'm pissed. I'm pissed out of my mind. I'm like, what did I do wrong in these 5 hours that I was working? And I still got done with only three out of the five things that I was supposed to do. So I get very like, I internalize all of that a lot. And when Nidhi asks me, like, so how's your day going? I'm like, unproductive. And I say it so passive aggressively, it's funny. And then when she pointed this out to me, I'm like, oh shit, yeah, you're right. I actually do that a lot. So what I tend to do is based on how much work I have done in the day, I term my day as like productive, which means it's a good day, or unproductive, which means it's a bad day, rather than judging it on the basis of how the day made me feel. Like, did I feel happy? Did I feel sad? Was I angry? Was I bored? No, it's just unproductive. So when I say unproductive, you have to know that I'm just disappointed.
Yeah, and this in the long run is so unhealthy because your day is not supposed to be productive. Your life is not supposed to be productive. Your life is supposed to be good. It can be something in between good and bad. It can be bad. It can be good. Your day can be something in between. But when you just term it as productive or unproductive, you are just putting this into like two huge box, which is like so congested. And I'm like, okay, bro, I didn't ask you or question you how many things you have done. I just asked how was your day. Did
Yeah,
what?
there's no in between. That's the
Yeah,
problem.
and it after some time, your view of looking at each and every day, it it like it becomes disoriented. Like you don't know what is happening. Your daily source of motivation is also like, oh, I should do this task. And then if there is a week where you feel like, oh, I was so unproductive, you just lose the motivation, when that is not how it's supposed to be. You're supposed to have a little bit fun, okay? And you're supposed to
Yeah.
just lie in your bed for a long time, even though your mom is shouting at you, but it's okay. Okay.
So one
Yeah,
thought
oh yeah,
that
okay,
got
yeah.
me
Wait.
through this.
Yeah. So like I was saying there, like it's okay. The reason why this was like so bad is because you define your self-worth and how productive or unproductive you are. Like if you're unproductive, then your self-worth gets immediately affected by it, and the way you carry yourself around people, and it's very noticeable. And that is how you just in term just it becomes a bad day because you weren't feeling happy with yourself, even though things were going pretty smoothly, but you just fail to notice it.
So one thought that helped me get out of this productive day and unproductive day mindset was uh, one bad day does not equal a bad week. You still have 6 more days in the week. One bad week does not equal a bad month. You still have at least 3 to 4 more weeks in a month. One bad month does not equal one bad year. You still have 11 months, and one bad year does not equal a bad life. Okay, just accept that you have some ups and downs. The process can't be like a graph that goes like a straight line slanting right upward and a steep slope. It's not always like that. And once I got out of thinking that way, I realized that, even the days when I'm feeling low and I just push myself to get out of bed is a good day. And it's a day that I have achieved something and made myself proud. And that's the switch that helped me to get out of this productivity and unproductivity mindset. And it just made me happier overall. So implement that. Think of this thought whenever you try to uh, like justify your productivity or unproductivity of the day, or if you try to beat yourself up about one slip up or something like that, don't do that. It's not fun. I've
Yeah.
been doing it since 16 years. It didn't work.
And
Eureka moment.
yeah, and it's not like, you're gonna die tomorrow. Like, come on, we already live our life like we are not gonna die someday. We all working for it, and it's like, it's okay. Take some few breathers, sit down, and relax. Sometimes it's fine.
And but yeah, another thing. Oh my God, when you're relaxing, please do not keep scrolling on your phone. It's not doing anything. It's just messing up your dopamine. Like we end up consuming more content rather than implementing, and that is what leads us to, feel bad about ourselves because we are consuming so much content. Like go to look at it. If you are watching videos on YouTube, you save a video into your watch later, you're like, oh, this new recipe that's actually going to help for my body type, yeah, I'll do it later. Okay, you put it in later. Oh, these few Instagram reels that are helping me improve my knowledge in this one subject, oh, let me just like save them for later. Oh, this pin that I have seen on Pinterest, it's giving lots of like study tips and stuff. That's something that I need, but I'm not in the mood of talking about academics right now, so let me save it for later. We just end up consuming so much and quote unquote saving for later all of the content that would actually help us if we just began implementing it right in the moment, and then we would actually have a better relationship and dependency on ourselves. We would
Definitely.
be able to depend on ourselves, and be more confident within ourselves, because we are like, oh, I promised myself that I was going to implement these new habits into my routine, and I did it. So rather than continuously like consuming this content on social media, like you'll see the same whack video coming up in your feed every like 2 to 3 days. Like occasionally you'll see the same stuff. So just implement whatever you think works best for you. You need not implement like 11 things at a time. That's where most people go wrong. Start with a new habit, just one habit, which might be like waking up 15 minutes earlier than usual. If you want to start waking up earlier, don't like jump suddenly. It's not going to work. You'll just end up like going into the slump again after
Yes,
that.
also it's very important of like what kind of content you consume. Even if for you will quote unquote say it's good for me, if like you're following bunch of gym people posting workout reels, workout videos, or like just all these people posting all the quote unquote good stuff in, in your view, it's important that you're just not viewing them, and like make sure you implement them, because when you keep on viewing people like all these gym people, or like these people who are posting pilates workout and just, diet plans and all these people are working for themselves, and it's a journey for them. It didn't happen overnight. Whatever they're posting it's because they have some experience, and they're doing it with because they have the end result now. It's good. But when you keep on just view and scroll and view and scroll, and you keep on seeing this body type of person like this, because after some time you start all the faces become similar, all their body types become similar, because if you're someone who's into fitness and all, obviously they're gonna have a pretty above average body type, like whatever figure it with muscles or like whatever it is. And once you just keep on seeing those same women or those same men, it will get into your head, and slowly you're watching them work out while you're on the bed eating your bag of Doritos, and then you will start comparing yourself. You will start feeling bad about yourself, because you might not look that bad yourself. Okay, you might be someone who's on the healthier side even though you're eating a Doritos on your bed, but just because you're following all these people uh who are like above average, and all of this have this figures and everything, you tend to forget how real bodies look like. And because you don't follow anyone else except these people, and you keep on seeing these people daily in your life, you feel like, oh, something is wrong with me. And then that is how the body dysmorphia and self hatred starts.
Also, what we end up doing is, I know this sounds like hypocritical, that we are asking you to stop just consuming media and actually implement stuff. What we are trying to say here is that wanting to keep leveling up and everything is all fun and games until it makes you feel overwhelmed because you have like a 2 hour long night routine and then you're burnt out the next day. So you don't have to implement everything that you watch because maybe everything is not meant for you. Like we were discussing much earlier in the episode, as a student you have to see what fits into your schedule without overwhelming you and stressing you out to the point that now following up on your habits and everything has become more of a stressor for you rather than something that is improving and actually structuring your life positively.
Mm, definitely. And again, this brings up the question, what are we exactly chasing? And like, whatever the goal is, can you not achieve it now? Like, Sonia mentioned it before, like, instead of just doing it into, oh, save later, save for later, for later, for later, we keep on losing track of time. And even with this, with self improvement and stuff, why are you chasing it so much? We discussed the definition in a where I and also why we strive for it. We know why we strive for it, but what is your goal? And like for many people, self improvement, their goal is to feel confident about themselves. Their goal is to feel happy about themselves. Most of the people, this is the goal, but is it something that you cannot achieve now? Like, can you like not achieve it now? Like, what's stopping you from achieving it now? Yeah, there might be setbacks and obstacles, but make sure that whatever you're doing, this rigorous routine that you're following and doing all this thing, make sure it's like actually worth chasing for. And whatever your end goal is, make sure like, oh, you need to go through all this and do all this and go to this madness and all just to achieve that goal. Because we have seen many people and like who have achieved their quote unquote goal, but they no longer feel happy. They have lost their spark. It's
They
not.
lost themselves in the process.
Yeah, make sure you don't lose yourself in the process. And like I said, like, is the goal so important for losing your spark or whatever your sense of self and your worth? Make sure it is not going to cause that. And if the goal can be achieved in few years, then it can be also achieved right now. You can just figure it out. There's always a way. Also, growth or goals. Do you have some specific goals in your mind, or you doing self improvement for quote unquote growth purposes? Because at the end of the day, your biggest competitor is yourself, and it doesn't mean you have to beat yourself for that. All you need to see is like, am I a better version of myself than I was yesterday? And if the answer is yes, go on. Maybe some days you might not be, and that is again completely okay. We all have our good days and bad days, and it's fine. So, yeah. Yes, so like when I was talking about growth or goals, I was talking about the intrinsic goals and the intrinsic extrinsic goal. So make sure your goals is intrinsic. The motivation that you're getting is internal, not external, because external motivation tends to diminish very rapidly and quickly, and that often leads to burnout. Because if you uh just drive and do all this and grind for a week of stuff which you don't even have an inner motivation, you're just doing it because, oh, you should do it, like there's some external agenda or goal for it. After some like after a week you will feel very down. When Sonia mentioned about her wanting to level up, like it's all fun and games until like you feel overwhelmed the next time and you are not able to sleep now. This happened with Sonia too. I asked her permission if I could talk about this, and she said yes. So I think Sonia can explain it better, but there was a period of time, like a phase, where she was waking up at 5 a.m. in the morning. I
Yeah.
Yeah, that was I think because you had some. No, you were not
Yeah,
waking
so
up at
there was
5. You
this.
were waking up at 4 a.m. Sorry, I got the
No,
timing wrong.
I was waking up at 4:30.
Yeah.
But what I was doing was I was waking up at 4:30 because I had realized that the past few years I was implementing new habits after the new year started. So I decided to implement new habits and build them up before the new year started this time. So around like the second half of December, I had found this health workshop and I enrolled for it because my mother said it was good. She had attended it in the past, and so she said that it's good if you also attended. It's helped me build these few new habits. So I said okay, and I enrolled for it. I didn't know that it was going to be from 5 to 6 in the morning. That was the only that was the only slot that they had, and that's what the whole challenge was about, implementing this new waking up early habit. And so I did that. And then the first week I managed to pull through. It was a 3-week challenge. The first week I managed to pull through, but then like after that, the next week I was basically like just becoming more and more grumpy throughout the
Yeah,
day.
and
And
see,
then the last week I was gone.
yeah, and not the problem was not only her. She was waking up at 4:30, but this lady right here, she was also awake till 2 a.m. because someone was sending me reels at 2 a.m. in the morning in like morning, yeah, 2 a.m. in the morning. I'm like in the middle of the night. I'm like, huh? Like, aren't you supposed to be asleep? You have to
Yeah,
wake up
that was
early.
that was my second week slump that had begun.
Yeah. So yeah, she was not only sleeping on time, but she was also waking up early than her usual routine. And you know what happened? Like Sonia said, the third week, this lady she couldn't function. The girl who was waking up at 4:30, it was 10 a.m. and she was still asleep. Uh,
Yeah, I woke up at like 10 and I was like, you know what? Like, bro, I can't do this anymore. What's going on? I still had 6 days of the challenge left.
Yeah, and it was also affecting her mood and behavior so much because there was one time when Sonia was all like grumpy and sad, and she was just like not talking with anyone, and all of us were like concerned, like what happened to her, and we were like, "Oh, Sonia, what happened? Why are you so like down today?" She's like, "Oh, I didn't wake up early today at 4:30. I was supposed to wake up at early today. I missed my sessions and I couldn't do it. That is why I'm so like down." I'm like, "Oh."
Yeah.
Like this lady, she refused to speak to anyone that day, and she was so silent, and she was just like, you know, I could see like that, in like in cartoon people, like the smoke that comes out of their head.
Yeah.
Imagine Soria like that. She was like so down, and like she was spiraling into that, and then when her sleep schedule become like again normal, like it's still not that bad. Like we are on a vacation, so it's good, pretty good. She's no longer waking up, 4:30, but like
Yeah,
it's
I'm
good.
not waking up at ungodly hours, guys.
Yes, it's all good. It's all back to normal. But that is, this is how, that makes you question, like, how long till self-improvement becomes self-sabotage? Because again, in this
You really need to reflect on this question. It's an important one.
Yeah, because again, with this example, she was doing this for self-improvement, quote unquote, but all it did was sabotage herself. Like it became self-sabotage instead of self-improvement, and it was not only affecting her, but it was also affecting people around her because of her mood. And the people started questioning if they did something wrong.
Yeah. And this leads me to my point of how, when you go to look at the different facets of health that you have, mental health is actually the easiest to neglect. So when we get hyper fixated on like physical appearances and having this hustle culture mindset and everything, what tends to happen is that we kind of let go of taking care of our mental health. We don't keep our mental health under check. Whereas if we would have just kept our mental health under check from the beginning, even when things got hard, it would have been easier for us to maintain our physical health, our emotional well being, and everything, because mental health, according to me, is like the basis of it all. So if you have a healthy mind, you'll be able to see it in a healthy body, you'll be able to see it in like good emotional regulation and perseverance and resilience. But if your mental health is not taken care of, all of these other facets, working on them superficially and doing like just surface work, is not going to help actually improve your mental health in a deep rooted fashion.
Yes, because a healthy mind leads to a healthy body, and a healthy body leads to a healthy mind. I know this is like arguing in circles, but it is what it is. Both of them are
Yeah.
interdependent. You can't change that.
So focusing more on like your superficial externalities is not as beneficial as just going right for the root cause, which is your messed up mental health and like your bad negative like self-talk and everything. So since we've been talking all this while about like how obsessing over self-improvement is bad, but it's good if you do it under a good limit, we have compiled like a list of things, like different aspects and how it is considered as self-improvement and when it starts turning into obsessing over it. And so we like to give you like around 2 to 3 examples. If you want the entire list, you can DM us on our Instagram handle. So the first one is goal setting. Now, when you look at it from a self-improvement perspective, realistic and achievable goals. When you set realistic and achievable goals, you are actually implementing the concept of self-improvement and it's helping you. But when you obsess over it, you set up unrealistic and rigid goals, which leads to constant dissatisfaction because you have these really large points that you want to reach to and these heights that you want to reach to, but because of how rigid you are with them and because of how much you beat yourself up about the little things, you end up obsessing over them rather than healthily working towards them. The thing we look at is progress tracking. It's similar to goal setting. Now when you monitor your progress to stay on track, like that's the main reason why you're monitoring progress, so that you can continue with this disciplined action, then it's known as self-improvement. But once this starts turning into you constantly scrutinizing all of the little details and like feeling anxious and overthinking everything, then it turns into obsessing over it, and then it actually just doesn't end up doing you any good.
Again, we are not experts over this topic, but it is something we just felt putting it out because of a since like both of us had personal experience. We have seen people, and I feel like it's very relatable for people of all ages. Like, the third point that I would like to mention is relationships. In the pursuit of self improvement, you neglect relationships, and due to this, some you might lose some good friends, you might lose some good people in your life because you are no longer being you're no longer even caring for your own emotions or the people around you, or your only sole focus is like to improve yourself. But in reality, when it comes to self improvement, it means improving yourself and people around you. And if it's not going that way, then that means something is wrong. Like for here, um Sonia, she has a very good habit of like, bringing fruits in her tiffins and all that.
Oh my God,
Yeah,
yeah.
none of us realize this, but okay, Sonia has this aura, and like if you are around like if you are always spending time with her, you
Oh
see,
yeah, you are the average of the 5 people you generally spend most of your time
yeah,
with.
and none of us noticed this, but we got so influenced by that we all of us started bringing fruits in college. Not because like we don't like it or we are going on a diet or something, because we started enjoying it because Sonia used to enjoy it and we used to have it from her tiffin, like when we were just sharing our tiffins, and it became like a regular habit so much that my mom was surprised, like, why are you eating apples suddenly? I'm like, yeah, wait, why am I asking you for apples every day? Then I'm like, oh, Sonia. And then when I mentioned this to Sonia, and then Sonia was like so proud, like ha ha ha. And
Yeah,
like,
I was boasting about it to my family. I was like, you know what? I have a good influence on people too.
yeah. Yes, and when it comes to obsession over it, again with the Sonia example, because we have a live example with us. Um, when Sonia was like obsessing over her not being able to wake up early for one day, and how her mood was off the entire day, and she was like not only it was not only adversely affecting her and her mood and just her day, it was also affecting us because in that pursuit, she was neglecting her relationship with everyone around us. I'm sure it was not just us. Maybe she was grumpy with her mother and her brother also. So we don't know about this. So when it comes in long term, when you're just obsessed about this particular thing that you have to achieve, but it is not working, make sure that the good people around you are not distancing themselves from yourself. So if it is happening, then maybe it's time that you take, stop and think, am I going on the right track? Is it pushing away? Is it pushing the good people away from me? Or is it pushing the bad people away from me? Think about it.
Yeah. So, in conclusion, while self improvement does foster growth and your well being, obsessing over it can lead to negative consequences, mainly including stress, burnout, and just strained relationships, which was the biggest example here. Balancing the pursuit of personal development along with having some compassion for yourself and being mindful is the key to a healthy approach to growth and actually benefiting from this whole self improvement journey that you are on.
Yes, don't fall into the facade of what self improvement is or whatever social medias or those self help book are telling you. Because let's be honest, the people who are posting the content, the people who are writing those books are again human, and for them, this is like a source of income for them. So you can't trust anything, or you can't even trust us because, like, again, from this, you have to make sure what works out for yourself. None of us are expert over here. Everyone is living a first life, I hope. There were so many things that we wanted to discuss, but time is limited. So we will have to end it up here. If you guys have any experiences that you would like to share, please DM us or like email us or even just write it in the comments. We always like reading about other people's experiences and stories. If you have any feedback or suggestions, drop them in. So yeah, that was it for today.
So that was it for today. Thank you for tuning in to this episode of Gooseberry.
If you're listening to this episode on Spotify, go check out our YouTube channel called as Gooseberry Podcast.
If you're watching this episode on YouTube, go check out our podcast on Spotify called Gooseberry.
Follow us on Spotify and YouTube so you're always on time for every new episode we release. Follow our Instagram for sneak peeks of the episode, behind the scene footage, fun reels, engaging story, and a whole lot more. Because I'm very funny, guys. So, like, please.
Yeah, she manages our Instagram. For any business emails and inquiries, email us at gooseberrypodcast, biz at gmail.com with the subject line quote-unquote business mail. All emails with subject lines other than this will be deleted immediately. To send us any feedback, email us on the same ID with the subject line season, insert number, episode, insert number, feedback mail. All emails with subject lines other than this will be deleted immediately.
This was Gooseberry, your guide to understanding the fascinating interplay of psychology, trends, and the essence of being alive.
This is Sonia
And Nidhi.
signing off.